the 7 delegations with 59 leaders and diplomats who visited 33 countries seeking to expose Pakistan's state support to radical Islamist terror. The delegations are back. The teams have met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He complimented them for putting India's voice forward. India, we are told, is also seeking that Pakistan be put on the Financial Action Task Force grey list. What was achieved and the challenges ahead. Joining me on India First is Ravi Shankar Prasad, senior BJP leader, former Union Cabinet Minister, Member of Parliament from Patna Sahib Lok Sabha seat. Sir, welcome. You led the all-party parliamentary delegation to France, Italy, Denmark, England, Brussels and Germany. Sir, your assessment, did India's global outreach after Operation Sindoor achieve the strategic objective you set out to achieve? Or is there merit in some in the opposition saying it was more symbolic than substantive?
First of all, you need to understand that this kind of global outreach, conveying the diversity of India's polity, something very rare. I don't recall, maybe in 71 they would have been there, but not of this scale. I remember Atalji had gone to Geneva with Salman Khurshid, then External Affairs Minister, the regime of Mr. Narasimha Rao, the Prime Minister. But this was a remarkable, I would say, exposure of India's polity. We had gone there with the good wishes of 1.4 billion Indian people. When I used to introduce my team, Amar Singh of the Congress Party, Priyanka of the Shiv Sena and others, they used to marvel that this kind of unity, very clearly they acknowledge that they are opposed to us, but here we have come to speak in one voice about the voice of India of sanity, of amity, but also determination in the fight against terror. This was deeply appreciated. The second point which we conveyed in unmistakable terms, that we have not come here to seek your aid. India is competent to handle Pakistan, which we have handled in 4 conventional wars and also in this war against terror. But we have come to convey that terrorism being promoted by army generals in Pakistan as a deadly nexus is a cancer for the whole world.
Oh,
if you see the terror attack in Mumbai or in Delhi or in New York or in London or in Brussels or in Germany, there is either a Pakistani terrorist or there is a terrorist trained in Pakistan terror camps. This is very, very important to be appreciated. Therefore, we are capable of taking care of Pakistan. We'll do it again, but you need to be on guard. And this menace of terrorism is against democracy, against humanity, against civilized existence, and above human rights.
Okay.
Just 2 quick points more, then I will take on your further questions.
Okay.
Europe is the seat of a lot of human rights. And we conveyed, yes, we all acknowledge human rights. Do the victims of terror have human rights or not? That young widow married 10 days ago with that Navy officer Narwal, does she have a human right or not? This human right debate has to be contextualized also in the context of the human right of the victims of terror. That we had come to forcefully convey. And yes, we were given a very patient hearing. The entire Europe was one in solidarity against India, against Pahalgam tragedy. Against Pahalgam tragedy. And all this happened also, Rahul, because of the growing economic clout of India. India became a 4th economy during the Pahalgam crisis. India's digital power, India's digital transformation. They were deeply impressed by that. And I could see everywhere in Europe a very keenness to economically work with India as well.
So they want to work with India, they're keen to engage deeply with India, but in your meetings, not just in Germany, but with other European countries, you know, you were talking about human rights, given their caution about escalating tensions between nuclear-armed India and Pakistan. Did European leaders or their think tanks have reservations about India's kinetic response? The Operation Sindoor, first against terrorists, and then when Pakistani army tried to target our military bases, targeting 11 Pakistan air bases and multiple radar stations and centers. Did you address those concerns?
We used to explain to them as to how we were never the aggressors in any of the conventional war of 48, 65, 71 and Kargil war. Then we explained the 1,000 cuts policy. And we explained Pakistan has been ruled by generals 10 years Ayub Khan, 7.5 years Yahya Khan, 11 years Ziaul Haq, 9 years Mr. Musharraf, and how long Mr. Munir, who was crushed in the field but got himself promoted the field marshal. But the larger issue we need to convey, India is a sober, saner power. No nuclear blackmail, no first use. But the world needs to understand that we should not recognize the nuclear blackmail of Pakistan. And this the world appreciated. There was no nuclear threat at all in this war, regardless of all their tall talks, which we are able to explain. One thing more which we convey to them in unmistakable terms. If the life of an American is important, if the life of a European is important, I think the life of an Indian is equally important. And the government of India is very clear, no innocent killing of ordinary Indians will be tolerated. And therefore this Operation Sindoor was a reply, enough is enough. And that enough is enough was seen in the kind of kinetic response we gave. Another thing which we very eloquently conveyed was, just 1 minute, that you in the case of operation against the Al-Qaeda went 12,000 kilometers far to Afghanistan hills and adjoining areas, along with your allies in Europe. You can go, surely Mr. Bin Laden was caught and killed in Pakistan. If you can travel 12,000 kilometers, Indian forces have also got the right to travel 400 kilometers to kill the terrorist, their patrons, and also the terrorist camp. That's what we did.
And within the country, sir, Congress General Secretary Jairam Ramesh, for example, he's calling for an all-party meeting, says discuss all the challenges posed by Pakistan, have a discussion on all of this, because his take is that your visit of all these delegations was perhaps weapon of mass distraction from the real issue.
Is Mr. Jairam Ramesh fighting on the front? I hope he's an intellectual, that's what I'm given to understand. I think he understands the basic meaning of diplomacy. In a war against terror, diplomacy also plays a part. And as a representative of Indians, we had gone there as a part of our diplomatic exercise. And let me tell you, we met all the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Defense Committee of various parliaments, the speakers, the deputy speaker. We also went inside the European Parliament, apart from meeting the foreign ministers and other government officials. All of them, in one voice, deeply appreciated Indian delegation coming and meeting their parliamentary counterpart. And they reaffirmed this should continue more and more. That is one of the biggest achievements we got. Mr. Jairam Ramesh needs to see the exuberance and enthusiasm of thousands of Indians who had come to hear us by the side of the triangle in the London High Commission, in Denmark, in Berlin. Therefore, what is the problem of Jairam Ramesh? I think the problem is intra-party, on which I am not competent to comment. But I would only say that Jairam Ramesh must talk to Shashi Tharoor, to Mr. Anand Sharma, to Mr. Manish Tiwari, to Mr. other friends, to Salman Khurshid, who boldly came yesterday and conveyed their very proud experiences as to how they defended India and how they exposed Pakistan. I think that's enough to reply to this kind of reckless comment of Mr. Jairam Ramesh. You must understand one thing. Operation Sindoor still goes on. It is only under a pause, subject to the good behavior of Pakistan on the issue of terrorism. That has been very clearly, अगर तुम गोली चलाओगे तो हम गोला मारेंगे. It is
अगर
there,
तुम
the PM
गोली
has said very
चलाओगे तो हम
clearly.
गोला मारेंगे. That's a strong line. But if I may take, for example, what the commander of US CENTCOM, Central Command, General Michael Kerala, what he's saying, he's describing Pakistan as a phenomenal partner in the war against terrorism. The US has actually thanked Pakistan for handing over an ISIS terrorist. Now, is this a shot in the arm for Pakistan, spreads terror and yet gets a shabash and an uphill battle that India is fighting?
Why you are asking my evidence? You have shown that the famous comment of Shahbaz Sharif, he said मैं रात में सोया हुआ था 2 बजे हमारे सिपह सलार मुनीर साहब ने मुझे फ़ोन करके उठाया और बताया कि इन कैंपों पे हमला हुआ है. तो when the Prime Minister of Pakistan is acknowledging his first knowledge coming from the general mauled in the field but elevated as a field marshal as to how he came to know about it. Therefore, these are evidence available, isn't it? And so many global experts, study experts, are completely appreciating the great Herculean courage of Indian forces. And by the way, you have shown it, all these made in India missiles ultimately decimated. One thing we also conveyed, and that is, one thing we also conveyed, they were deeply impressed by the prowess of India's forces, the technological power. We have all respect for the state of Israel, which is of the size of Haryana. If they have completely erected security wall around their airspace is good. But India is a huge country. From Ladakh to Bhuj, this 3,000 kilometers air was completely secure. Any missile was frustrated, destroyed and paralyzed. And once they did not listen, and we told the world that when we, in the first instance from 1 o'clock till 1:25, around 20 minutes we only destroyed the terrorist camp and told them in the morning कि आपके आतंकवाद को हमने खत्म किया है. This for information.
But Rahul Gandhi or the Congress party, on the other hand, if I may say, you alerted the Pakistanis. That's what the Congress party is saying. But that's not all. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi went to the extent, and you've heard him, I'm sure, Narinder, surrender. And the Prime Minister said, Ji Hazur. Sir, you were overseas that time. Does that weaken India's united stance in that war on terror? What's your take on that?
In the entire part of the world that we went into, and I addressed press conferences myself in London, to Rome, to Brussels, to Berlin, everywhere where we went, we addressed the media. And talking to all of you, you have trained us enough to take on the world media as well, isn't it, in a foreign land. We took all their questions, and they had no questions at all. When we explained, is the life of Indian less important than the life of an American, or do you acknowledge that it's terrorism or not? We showed them the evidence as to how the attack on London Tube and the knifing incident just in front of the Whitehall all have the footprint of Pakistani or Pakistani terrorist. Therefore, Rahul Gandhi is irrelevant there. But if Rahul Gandhi gets it heart gladdened by his frequent appearances on Pakistani television and clapping there, I can't help. But the larger issue I would like to flag here, Mr. Kanwal, is this. Rahul Gandhi is now the leader of opposition. Not by any capability or ability, but because of family connection. But it is a very responsible post he is holding. Does he think that he needs to be more sober, tempered in his utterances? Should not demean India by these kind of words. I know he has a problem with Narendra Modi. In simple word, आप यहाँ कैसे बैठे हुए तो मेरी जगह है. But this sense of entitlement is no more there. He is being defeated with alarming regularity in elections after elections. Lok Sabha third time, then Haryana, then Maharashtra, then Delhi, and now in Bihar too. लेकिन हम क्या करें? अब जनता उनको वोट नहीं देती है तो हम इसके लिए क्या करें?
That Bihar challenge is something where I look forward to interviewing you. once again, but Ravi Shankar Prasad for joining me
Most
here
welcome.
on this India
Most
Today
welcome.
special broadcast. Many thanks and thank you for representing our country overseas and putting India's point of view across the world. Many thanks, sir.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you.